What's going on, everyone? Talon here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a build/review on Spider-Man. So let's go ahead and check out his details. So there's probably two main ways that you can build Spider-Man. It's going to be either towards crit rate or dodge, and I went ahead and did dodge for my build just because I do like the extra survivability, because he is a pretty squishy character. He'll die pretty fast if you're not careful. So that's why I went ahead and used dodge for my build on Spider-Man. So let's go ahead and check out his skills. So I have all my skills right now at level 6, but the main skills that you're probably going to be using with Spider-Man are going to be Web Slinger, just because that's the one where he jumps up in the air and it's an iframe the whole time so you won't get hit. And then also for your damaging attack, you're going to be using the Wrecking Web, which is his 6-star skill, which will be doing the majority of the damage for you. And it's not an iframe, but when he jumps up in the air, you don't get hit by ground-based attacks, but you still can get hit by attacks while doing this. So it's definitely not a safe attack, but it is semi-safe. And then the other main skill that you're going to be using is this 1-star, actually the Web Blast. And that will link actually with his uniform, which I'll go into a little later. But with the Civil War uniform, the Web Blast is actually an iframe. You will not get hit while using this skill, and it adds extra web shots, so it does do more damage than without the uniform as well. Okay, so let's take a look at his ISO set. So for him, I have Hawkeye. I do like the extra damage that it gives, and also the skill cooldown is really nice as well. So this is probably, I would think this would be one of the better sets to have on him. I would put this as the top set to get for Spider-Man, just because it has everything that you need for either build. It has crit rate, crit damage, dodge, cooldown time, and all attacks. So it's got pretty much everything that you need. Other options, if you're going for a more survivability build, is probably I Am Also Groot. I don't think I would go for a defense ISO set on him, because I don't think it will really help his survivability enough for it to be worth it. I'd rather get the extra damage out of it instead. Alright, so now let's take a look at his gear. Alright, so nothing unusual here. We're going to go physical or all attack for his first gear. Next gear, you're just going to do all defense, and for the first slot you can do by level if you want to get extra defense on one or the other, energy or physical, because you do get more than if you just do all energy there, or all defense there, I mean. And then for the third one, I just went with pure HP just to help him survive a little longer. And then over here is kind of depends on your build. If you're doing the dodge build, I definitely recommend defense penetration. If you're doing the crit rate build, of course you're going to try to do crit rate here. So it's kind of just personal preference. And now, last but not least, is going to be the extra gear, the custom gear slot, and I just have dodge here, nothing crazy, dodge and dodge, just because that goes towards my build, and it helps me get towards that 65% that I'm at right now for his dodge. If you're going for a crit rate, of course you can have a crit rate obelisk, and if you're lucky enough to get a secondary dodge, then that's also going to be a bonus. Besides that, you probably want to look for extra slots of immune to damage when your HP is below a certain percent, because those are always really helpful. Or you want to get the ones that will increase your damage for 1 attack, 2 attack on your obelisk, because those will probably be the most useful for Spider-Man. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead and check out the uniform options. So if we go here to the uniform list, we can see that I have the Civil War uniform equipped, and it does, for bonuses, spider web effect added to the spider kick skill. But then as you can see, it changes 3 of his skills here. And the main ones that we're going to look at for the skill change is going to be the Web Blast. And then for the other uniform that's really popular is going to be this one here for this, the all different, all new one. And it does change the web shot as well, but it doesn't change it into an iframe. All it does is add shock damage. So this one can also be useful, but it's more situational. For this uniform, I find that it helps me to lock down the enemies in Shadowland, just because I get all this extra webbing here, which is really nice because it does add webbing to the kick as well, his web kick, whereas this uniform does not. So that's also a good bonus, and I find that having the web blast making you immune to damage, well, not immune to damage, but being an iframe helps in world boss fights quite a bit. So there's a few more benefits, I think, to this uniform opposed to this uniform. But it is personal preference. Both uniforms are good in their own way because the shock damage can stun as well. So if you're going against enemies that are not immune to stun effects, then this uniform is probably just as good. Alright, so that's it for the uniforms. So now let's go ahead and take a look at him in the story mission. Alright, so here we are at story mission 10-8. So we're going ahead and just put Spider-Man as the leader and just throw in 2 random characters so that they have no bonuses together. And we're just going to go ahead and throw him in and just let him go through on autoplay. As you can see there, that is the web sling shot that I was talking about. He jumps up in the air and shoots multiple web shots at them, and he is unable to get hit during that time, so it's pretty nice to have that. Whereas he will get hit using that attack with the other uniform or just without a uniform. Alright, so there we go. Spider-Man was able to easily clear the last mission. It did take him a little while. 1 minute and 51 seconds is actually quite long, but all the enemies in here, or most of them, are actually combat types, so it does put him at a little bit of a disadvantage for killing them. But he is a character that'll easily do all the story missions for you on autoplay. Just, you can leave him, let him do his thing, level up your other characters. You don't have to worry about him dying. So that's going to be the story mission. So now let's go ahead and check out him in co-op. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at him in co-op now. Okay, so we're just going to leave him on autoplay here and see what kind of damage he can do. Alright, so he did 63% of the damage in 42 seconds. So he does have a pretty high damage output, especially considering he was against a strong element. So definitely happy with those results. Alright, so that's going to be my build/review on Spider-Man. I don't think he is a top tier character, but I definitely think he is a really strong character and a good one to get, especially since he is a farmable character. His bios are available in story missions, so it definitely makes him more accessible, and he is one of the better characters that you can get from there, so I would recommend getting him to 6 stars if you don't already. He is really useful in Shadowlands. He's really useful in just in story modes and co-ops and stuff like that. He can be useful in world bosses for links, because he does have quite a bit of links, and he also could be useful if you need that extra dodge as a striker to help you help your other characters survive. So that's going to be it for Spider-Man, and at the end of all these videos, we always like to suggest a new character that we'd like to see in the game, and in this case, I was thinking maybe Silver Sable would be really cool to see. She does do quite a few crossovers with Spider-Man, so she would be fun to see added to the game as a nice new mercenary addition. And besides that, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will catch you in the next one.